What's going on, guys? Billy here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new DJI Smart Controller made for the Mavic 2 series of drones. There are a couple of guys out there who got this thing early, and I'd recommend going ahead and checking out their full review videos, but today at CES, I got a chance to get my hands on this new remote controller, and I figured I'd give you guys a look around the remote, as well as give you some of my first impressions. So I should probably start this video off by saying that this remote controller was made to be used with the Mavic 2, so therefore it operates over the OcuSync 2.0 transmission system, and it clearly resembles the remote controllers used with all of the Mavics as well as the Spark. It lacks the LCD screen that features telemetry, but it has a massive 5.5-inch display, which is its main selling point. This screen improves the speed of the setup of your drone and is incredibly bright with 1000 nits of brightness. Just a side note, in a lot of the clips you'll see throughout this video, it was actually hard to properly set the exposure because of the poor lighting inside of the convention center and the amount of light coming off of this remote screen. To touch on the speed of setting up your drone just a little bit more in depth, I've got to say that setting up the Mavic 2 is super quick. Being able to just take it from your bag or out of its case, unfold the legs and turn it on, that's a breeze. But then once it gets to the remote controller, things feel a little bit cumbersome. You've got to unfold it, screw in the sticks, open up the DJI Go app on your phone, go into the actual application, set things up. Whereas if you're using that new remote controller, the Smart Controller, you're able to just simply turn it on and wait for the drone to connect. There's really no fumbling with your mobile device. Anyway, back to the remote. On the front, we touched on the bright 5.5-inch display that dominates the lower half of the remote, but at the top, we've got a lot of controls that will look familiar to us. We, of course, have the two joysticks on either side, a flight mode switch in the center to change between sport, position, and tripod mode, which is surrounded by the return to home button, the power button, the pause button, and the customizable 5D button that we are used to on the stock Mavic 2 remote controller. Two new buttons are featured on this remote, which are located on the outer parts of either side of the front of the remote. So on the left is a back button, and on the right is a select button, which serves as an alternative to using the touchscreen. On the bottom side of the remote, we get a microphone and a USB-C port for charging. Flipping things over to the back, we get the two typical customizable buttons with a speaker in the center. Up at the top, you'll notice that there's a small opening which is actually used to hold the joysticks. On this remote controller, they still screw off and are stored in this back rubber housing. What's even cooler is that the antennas fold down to fully encase the joysticks. After all is said and done, this remote controller turns out to be pretty portable, although I'd recommend getting a screen protector, as I can only imagine this will pick up a lot of scratches from being thrown inside of your bag. The final part of this remote controller that we have to look at is the top portion, which features the typical shutter button and record button, as well as two scrolling wheels, one for the gimbal and one for selecting options. What's new here is the full-size HDMI out for connecting to larger displays, the USB-A port, and a micro SD card slot for viewing and managing files on the go. A cool thing about that HDMI port is that you can output in a full 4K resolution at 60 frames per second. To wrap up this quick video, there are a few more points that I want to touch on, and as we go over them, I'll list them over here along the side. First of all is the range, which is still 8 kilometers or 5 miles. This remote won't give you any more distance. It also switches between 2.4 and 5.8 gigahertz automatically, just like the stock remote controller, so don't expect better image quality, as we'll still get a maximum feed at 1080p, which is perfect for the 1080p monitor. Another great aspect of this controller is that it can be used in temperatures ranging from -4 degrees to 104 degrees. Referring to the inside of this remote for a second, the battery has a rated capacity of 5000 milliamp hours, which gives us 2.5 hours of usage, which I find to be modest at best. I would have loved to see more, but you can always charge as you fly using that USB-C port. Finally, there are some new apps that come with this remote, like DJI Go Share, which allows you to send files taken from your drone over to your mobile device. In terms of the apps available on the DJI Smart Controller, this is still a locked down version of Android. You can't just go open it, go to the Play Store and download any application that you want. DJI has said that they are open to making it a little bit more open so that third-party applications can be loaded onto this device, but you can't just go to the Play Store, you can't just download Drone Deploy, you can't get Ground Station Pro on this thing, and it kind of sucks because you're paying a lot of money for this remote controller and you can't use those third-party applications. I wanted to give you guys a good glimpse of what the actual menu set looked like when using the DJI Smart Controller, although once I opened it up on the review unit that I had on the floor here at CES, it was all in Chinese. Again, I'd love to go through this. I'd love to show you guys what you can do with this remote controller, but I just could not find my way through that menu to save my life. So guys, there we have it. That is everything that you need to know about the brand new DJI Smart Controller made for drones running OcuSync 2.0. As far as my first impressions are concerned, I love it. I think it's great. I'll definitely buy one. But again, it sucks that I can't run Drone Deploy on the Smart Controller because if I go to a mapping job, I'll have to bring my standard remote controller. So again, it kind of creates that need to have both of them on demand or on site just in case. Another thing that I have to complain about, and I think that a lot of people will agree with me here, is the price is a little bit steep. $649 seems to be a lot to ask for a remote controller. Again, something that really can't take advantage of the full drone, not being able to use third-party applications. I got a lot of people tweeting at me saying that they would never pay that much money for a remote controller, which by the way, if you guys don't follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, it's at Billy Kyle, and I'll be posting a ton while I'm here at CES, so be sure to go ahead and follow me and keep up with what I'm seeing here at the show. But guys, that about wraps up my video here on the Smart Controller. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.